Hi, I'm here to talk to you about CCM8, Unit 5, Lesson 1, Combining Like Terms. Some definitions for you. A variable is a letter used to represent a quantity that can change. A constant is a value that does not change. It also has no variable. A coefficient is the number being multiplied by the variable. The coefficient and the variable will be side by side with no multiplication symbol there. They'll just be side by side, and that automatically means they're being multiplied together. The term numbers or variables separated by a plus or minus sign, and an algebraic expression, a mathematical phrase that can include numbers, variables, and operation symbols. So here I've got an algebraic expression for you. 6a squared plus 5ab plus 3b minus 12. My 6, 5, and 3, those are all my coefficients. My 12 here is a constant. You see how it has no variable with it? So it's just a constant. A squared, ab, and b, those are all variables. These items here that are separated by my plus and minus signs are terms. So I've got 4 terms here. Like terms have exactly the same variable factors. So 3x squared and 4x squared are like terms. 6xy and negative 5xy are also like terms. Some numbers here that are not like terms: 4x and 2y. 7a squared and 3a. You see that they both contain a's, but one is raised to the second power and one is not. So they are not alike because their variables are not exactly alike. And then 2xyz and 10yz. Those are not like terms. VIC number 1, that stands for very important concept number 1. All constants are like terms. So just like you learned in elementary school, if you have 4 and 10, you put 4 and 10 together, that's 14. They're like terms, you're allowed to put them together. VIC number 2, to add or subtract terms, they must be like terms. So here I've got 15x plus 12x. They are like terms, so I'm allowed to add them. I'm going to add them because there's an addition sign in between the two terms. So in my mind, I just say, okay, what's 15 plus 12? 27. So my answer is 27x. Sometimes the way I read this is I say, if I have 15 x's and I want to add 12 x's, how many x's do I have altogether? Sometimes I say that in my head just so I can understand that, hey, I'm dealing with all of the same item here. So my final answer, 27x. Okay, on this one we've got 3x squared plus 5x squared. They are like terms because they both have x squared, so I can put them together. And I've got 8x squareds, or 8x squared. That's my final answer. Why don't you go ahead and do this one, and I'll do this one on the board while you're working at home, and let's see if we come up with the same solution. I got 3z. Is that what you got? I added 2z's plus 4z's. That was 6z's. And then 6z minus 3z is 3z. It's a mouthful. This last one here, 7y squared plus 6y. If you look at them, we do not have like terms, so we cannot put them together. This is it. This is as simplified as this problem gets. I cannot put them together, so this one is done. VIC number 3. Use shapes or colors to help you identify like terms. You must include the plus or minus sign in front of the term when you identify it. This helps to signal if you're going to add 2 items or subtract 2 items. You have to circle it or box it. It's going to help you in the long run. So the first one I've done for you. You've got 3x plus 9 plus 2x minus 8. So I see that I've got 2 like terms here, 3x plus 2x. I can put those together. Then I've got 2 constants. That's a positive 9 and a negative 8. So I'm going to end up putting those together as well. I do one at a time. 3x's plus 2x's is 5x's. Positive 9 take away 8 is positive 1. So my final answer is 5x plus 1. All right, why don't you try this one on your paper and I'll do this one on the board with you. Make sure you're circling the like terms and this operation symbol that comes in front of it. The first term has no operation symbol in front of it, so I'm already assuming that it's a positive 6a squared. And then you just put your items together. So 6a squared plus 12a squared, 18a squared, plus 4d minus 2d. So I have positive 4, take away 2, that still gives me positive 2d. There you go. Vic, number 4. When writing your simplified expression, rewrite terms in alphabetical order. The term that has the highest variable power goes first. Constants will come last. So here you see I went ahead and circled my like terms and I put them together. So I had, in my problem, I had 21b plus 10a minus 8a minus 6b. So I circled my like terms, 21b minus 6b. And then I boxed my other like terms, positive 10a take away 8a. And because of the important concept here in my mind, I need to realize that, hey, my terms with A will come first, my terms with B will come second, because when I write my answer, they need to be in alphabetical order according to the variable. So I'm going to simplify my A's first in this case. So I've got positive 10, take away 8, that leaves me with positive 2A's. 21B's minus 6B's, that leaves me with a positive 15B. So I know that I need to put a plus in between my two terms here. So my final answer is 2A plus 15B. Why don't you try this one? I know my x's go with my x's. My x squareds go with my x squareds. Now reread the very important concept. It tells you that the term that has the highest variable power will go first. In your problem, you've got x and x squared. So we're dealing with the same letter, but they're raised to different powers. I'm actually going to put my variables with the x squareds first. So let's go ahead and simplify that. 7x squared minus 2x squared gives me 5x squared. And then I've got a positive 3x. I know it's positive because there's not a minus sign in front of it. Positive 3x plus 6x is 9x. Alrighty. And last but not least, Vic number 5. If a variable does not have a visible coefficient, it's understood that the coefficient is 1. So if you look here in the first problem, 5q plus x minus 3q plus 7x. This x by itself here, that's signaling to you that we have one of those. We've got one x. There doesn't have to be a 1 in front of it. It's just understood that, hey, there's one x there. So let's go ahead and combine our like terms. 5q minus 3q is 2q. And 1x plus 7x is 8x's. So I've got 2q plus 8x. That's my final answer. It's in alphabetical order, so I'm good. Let's try this last one. Why don't you try it? I'll give you a second while I do it here on the board, and then we'll go over the final answer. Did you get 3x squared plus y squared? So in my problem I had x squared plus 2x squared. Put those together to get 3x squared. Then I had a positive 3y squared, and I'm taking away 2y squareds. That leaves me with 1y squared. Now, I do not need to put a 1 there. That's more work. That's extra pencil that I'm using. So just leave it y squared because it's already understood that that's 1y squared. So just leave it there. Just y squared, no 1 in front. That's the simplest form. All right, hope you enjoyed this lesson.